What's shaking, guys? It is CJ from High Tide Lacrosse. I'm going to be talking about something kind of special, I guess, in the lacrosse community right now that has come out recently within the past couple weeks, and that is the ever controversial topic of the Warrior Warp lacrosse head. So I kind of wanted to talk about it with you guys, tell you some of the research and the information that I found, relay it back to you. I'm going to make sure that I look at this as non-biased as possible. I think that's really, really important because I feel like there are a lot of good pros to this, and there are definitely some negatives that you guys know about because I've seen the Instagram pictures and people freaking out over it. So I do want to make sure that I am fair and give my honest opinion of it to make sure that you guys get all the facts. So essentially, the concept of the Warrior Warp is that it's like the last stick you'll ever need. The mesh is actually attached to the head. It is not strung on. It is physically, well, I guess welded into the sidewall of the head. There's no more strings needed. No more adjusting stuff. It is how it is. Just looking at it, you can see that there's like a yellowish fabric around it. That's actually Kevlar, which, as you guys know, as the Warp website actually says, that's what bulletproof vests are made of. The mesh itself is made of polypropylene. It's lightweight. It's never going to bag, waterproof, basically all the things that you'd want in a mesh, but better because it's supposedly consistent, completely consistent, weatherproof, reliable. You never have to worry about your strings coming undone or your sidewall tearing or your top string tearing. So it's basically this perfect idea of this head that is going to be consistent every time, and it's going to be perfect, more or less. I think that's kind of how Warrior is making it out to seem like it's literally going to be the last head you're ever going to need. It comes pre-made. It's essentially like the utopian lacrosse stick. That's the only way I know how to describe it. It's this utopian lacrosse stick that they are totally pumped about. Warrior is, at least. When it got released to the public, it was a picture of a player using it, and everyone was like, what the heck is this? What is that thing? Oh my gosh. People freaking out, and then it kind of got released to the public. So far, from what I've seen from, I guess, the laity, the grassroots level lacrosse players, you and me, I'm not talking about like the huge lacrosse companies, but the people like you and me, the general feel of this has not been good, and I wanna go into that a little bit more. The problems that I'm seeing with the Warrior Warp, I mean, on the lowest level, I mean, you're losing that level of you're losing the level of customization, and I feel like that's such an important part of what makes lacrosse special, is that you can literally customize your stick to any spec you want. If you want a low pocket with a lot of whip, or you want a really baggy mid pocket with a really nice snap, you can get that by adjusting shooters and nylons in your pocket and using different knots. And that level of customization is lost when you get a pre-made stick. Now, I read that you can pick between the 3 different pockets, but as you grow as a player, you might decide that something, you want something different. Like you were using a mid pocket, but you think, well, I need a little bit more, a quicker release on my stick. I need to switch to a high pocket. You can't do that. You can't just switch the pockets out. You do lose a large level of customization with this stick. From what I rumored the price to be, I heard, I don't know if it's true, I heard that it's going to be $300. That's outlandish. $300 for a head mesh combo, that's totally off the wall. And the website, Warrior, talks about how you don't have to fear your backup stick because you'll have It'll be two of the exact same stick. Nobody is gonna buy two $300 lacrosse sticks. I personally don't see that happening. If that is true, that is crazy for the price. The technology is probably upwards of that. The way the pocket is and everything else, it's probably worth that. But that's a lot of money. Third thing that I thought of is, what if by some chance the head breaks or your mesh catches a rock and it tears? You can't refix that. If you break a sidewall, you grab another piece of sidewall and you fix it. You rip a shooter, you get a new shooter. That's the advantage of having mesh or a traditional pocket, is that you can fix things. With this, you can't. You lose that sense of being able to fix something that goes wrong. That's huge. Here is what I think people are the root of the problems are, and I'm really gonna try to come at this as fairly as I can and as objectively as I can. First of all, if you watch the video, and I recommend you should go watch the video. The one quote, and I quote from the video, their one line was, "It doesn't care about competition or tradition." Now, I can understand why I wouldn't care about competition. I mean, as a business, you know, you have competition, and you shouldn't be afraid of competition. You should respect your competition, but not be afraid of it. It doesn't care about tradition. Last time I checked, lacrosse was a game of tradition. Even going back to when the game was being played by the Native Americans. That's tradition. This game has been handed down from generation to generation and has gotten to this point now. The game of lacrosse is built on tradition. If it doesn't care about it, like the video says it doesn't, that's neglecting more or less the entire history of the game. Now, I realize that it means, I think sometimes someone could take it as, you know, their tradition of stringing your stick, or, you know, your mesh becomes inconsistent, that kind of tradition. But either way, it doesn't care about tradition. If there's any sport that has tradition, it's lacrosse. And the fact that it's rejecting that kind of right away, kind of think that puts a mar on it. To sum it up, I think the issue is this. I'm going to sum this up in one sentence. The Evo Warp, it's not necessarily about what we get with the head and the stick. It's what we're losing by getting that stick. You're losing that something special that comes with stringing your own stick and figuring out how it works for you, and learning how the ball feels in your stick, and what exactly you're looking for when it comes to release or when it comes to hold. But what you're losing is a level of the growth of the game. I can remember when do I have that in here? I don't. When I started playing lacrosse, I had a Brine Alias head. I don't know if anybody remembers the Brine Alias. It was this cheap Brine head. I thought it was the bee's knees. I had it strung with hard mesh and a low pocket, and I thought that was great. But then as I was learning about stringing and learning about the mechanics of the game, I figured to myself, oh, it kind of seems like that a mid pocket might be more suitable for my kind of playing. And then I learned how whip works, and I learned how hold works, and I learned how to make channel in your stick, and I learned how to adjust the release point. That's a huge part of the game that we're losing when you have a pre-made stick. You're losing the opportunity to not only learn how your string works, but you learn just as much about your own style of playing from your stick. And I think that's kind of why people are up in arms against this concept of a pre-made stick that is the same no matter who has it. I guess we'll see where everything kind of goes. It's still relatively new. Like I said, the official price hasn't been released yet. But that's all the information that I've gotten from the video and from the website. In closing, I think it is a cool idea, like this stick that comes together and you never have to buy another stick. And I think the idea is cool, but I think Warrior, in making this, is losing some of what makes lacrosse lacrosse. They're taking, I think they're taking a lot, they're trying to take the human aspect out of the development and innovation of the game. I think that's kind of what people are getting upset about. So that's my opinion. Comment below what you think. If you think it's a great idea or not, or you think it's a horrible idea, comment below your opinions. Subscribe if you haven't to Highlight Lacrosse for more videos. Hit that like button. Share this video if you liked it. If you think that it was educational. Check out our Instagram and our Twitter and our Facebook. And of course, there is a link down below to our website, which is where you can buy Moon Mesh. You guys are great. We can't do what we do without you. Have a killer day, guys.